Okay, this is part two of this little selection I'm doing today. I should have said there's a couple of more, well, there's one more Hoffman Avenue record which I didn't mention. I've got two copies of it because they're different vinyls, and they're different because they've got deluxe printed sleeves. They're actually Bob Dylan, called For What It's Worth, or Hold the Fort for What It's Worth. Printed deluxe black and white cover. It's definitely Hoffman Avenue Records, and it's from obviously Fort Worth, Texas. Not sure of the date, but 75 I presume. He signs on the, or credits himself as LC Jr., which is LC Lou Cohen, his initials, Jr. I think it was about the time that these came out, the FBI got hold of him. This first one is the super special one because it's the rainbow splatter. So you've got silver labels, printed labels, and multicolour, black, red, green, splatter, sort of yellow gold vinyl. I'm not sure whether they released more copies of these than the others, being deluxe covers, but they don't seem to be as expensive as you might think to buy. The other vinyl is predominantly green and yellow splatter, on my copy anyway. So the other version of that release, exactly the same cover, which in some ways I also find just as appealing. Same labels. This time you've got a more monochrome kind of splatter, but there are browns, there are pale blues, greys and whites. It's still very, very attractive. That one even more so, as you can see from the superb splatter colours. So, I've seen these go for less than £100. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Vicky Vinyl. I believe she's that's her moniker that she used at the time, and that her real name was Andrea Enthal. And if that is the lady, then I was writing to her in 1978 when she was living in LA, and I've still got all that correspondence. But there are some people who doubt that it's the same person. But anyway, I got a few bootlegs from her at the time, including the next one, which has a large place in my heart, as it was the first Yes bootleg that I bought. I'd seen it in a book called The Bootleg Bible, which I've got somewhere around, which I bought in Virgin Records, and it was only a fairly small book, but it had got a picture of this Yes bootleg, which looked amazing with the Roger Dean cover. And I managed to find it at a record fair in about 1978 or early 79, probably would have been. I started going to fairs. So I've actually got 6 copies of it since, and it is Sorcerer's Apprentice which is Hollywood Bowl 75, June 75, I think it's June. It was an audience recording by Mike Millard, and obviously it's a single album, so it wasn't a complete show, but it was a very good audience recording, and for the time, an audience recording, this was considered to be decent quality. It's been reissued on CD countless times since then, the complete thing, and it's only recently been reissued in Japan using a new Mike Millard master or remaster. But anyway, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are all black vinyl ones. Different editions, different coloured inserts, but then these are the coloured ones which I'll show you. So this one has the coloured vinyl stamp on the back, the Idle Mind logo there, E with a apple. This one has a blank label on one side and the Idle Mind label on the other. And this is actually the green one, which is I think harder to find than the blue one, which I'll show you. Well, that's just my take on it. You don't see as many green ones. Never seen a rainbow splatter version of it, but if anybody's got one, let me know. It says on the run out, how do you keep a Black Sabbath fan busy? Please turn over. It says the same thing on the other side. In fact, there's comments like that on the runoffs on a lot of the Idle Mind and Hoffman Avenue pressings. Yeah, that was the first Idle Mind release. So this one is a nice kind of teal blue insert, doesn't have the stamp on the back. There's plain labels. There's blue multicoloured splatter, reds, whites, black. But you use at least 3 other colours in the splatters in addition to the base colour. And the third one is white again. Again, a blue one, plain labels, and basically similar to the other one. So for a Yes fan, you've got the Roger Dean-ness, you've got the bootleg feel of the thing, you've got multicoloured vinyl, and if you can get them in mint condition as these are nearly all, even better. So after the Yes, Rolling Stones, yeah. So Hoffman Avenue tended to all be singer-songwriter type titles, if you noticed that. Idle Mind a bit more rock related. So after the Yes Sorcerer's Apprentice, Vicky Vinyl then turned her attention to her favourite artists, the Rolling Stones. This was a 1975 recording at the LA Forum from famous taper Mike Millard. She released it in 3 separate albums. So these are they. So the first one, Tour of the Americas Part 1. Logo there. Underneath the logo it says Mick Lip Discs. This one is subtitled Who Went to Church This Sunday. Stamp on the back, coloured vinyl. So this one's got like a flower design label, both sides, blue and silver, a nice blue, red and white and black and green splatter. Now this show was reissued numerous times, both by Idle Mind and other labels. Second one, obviously Tour of the Americas Part 2. This one's given a dedication to Charlie Watts. Under the logo this time it says Charlie Lip Discs. On the back we've got the stamp, coloured vinyl, and then a poem. I don't know who wrote it, but it's quite clever, about the Stones, members of the Stones. This one we've got green splatter, lovely green splatter. There's red, white and blue colours. We've got the Idle Mind label with Eve that side and the flower style that side in black and white. So they look particularly nice when they've got the Eve logo on the label. And then the third one, called Nervous Breakdown. Another wraparound sleeve. It's just tagged on. I think there's a bonus track, Luxury, from Baton Rouge, LA. Stamp again on the back. This one. So obviously I've got the first one was blue splatter, the second one was a green splatter. So this is the third one, and it's nice rainbow splatter with the Idle Mind logo. And on the back of this one, on the other side, it's got the silver logo with track listings on. Sorry, silver label with the track listings on. Gorgeous vinyl. One of my favourite LPs in my collection. So moving on from then, she then released an Elton John title. It's called West of the Rockies. So she's quite happy to have English artists. You know, we've got the Stones, we've got Elton John, and this was from San Diego '75. Not sure that it was a radio broadcast or not. It might have been. And sorry, that's the one side is Dodger Stadium, October '75. Then the other side is San Diego '75. So it's the it's Captain Fantastic sort of period, which is his best period for me. Really nice wraparound sleeve. stamp on the back, and her logo there. She also mentions special thanks to Jay Wizzardo and Brett, and she had a very close with John Wizzardo at this point. They did a lot of joint ventures, I think. And this one on mine is multiple blue splatter. Lovely Eve logo, Eve label that side, printed label the other side with the tracks. I don't have any other Elton John bootlegs. I used to have a few, but that's beautiful. Then we're back with the Stones. Welcome to Frankfurt. So this is 76, yeah, European Tour 76. So wrap around sleeve again, logo at the bottom, no coloured vinyl stamp on mine, this one. The track listings. This time we've got the flower label both sides. The blue splatter. There are various different colour splatters with this one. It's quite widely pressed. It's one of the more easy titles to find of these sort of things. Next one I've got is Bob Dylan Rolling Thunder Review. So Dylan Baez. The show is from Toronto, December 75. And my copy is actually the K&S version. It's got the K&S logo there. Kurt Glemser was responsible for that label, but basically it's the same as Idle Mind pressing, and it's actually got Idle Mind catalogue number, which is IMP 1109 on this. Kurt Glemser was the guy who did Hot Wax. He was based in Canada. So slightly more busy splatter on this one. The plain label is just labelled 1 and 2. Just to say, that's a K&S version of an Idle Mind release. Okay, and then we're back to the Stones again. Bring It Back Alive. This is got the Idle Mind logo there. This is from an earlier recording from Charlotte in 72. Yeah. And mine's got the stamp on the back. One of the best recordings for that period, audience recording. We've got white flower labels both sides, and again we're in the blue splatter style. And again you've got reds, greens, yellows, whites. Obviously there's lots of titles I don't have in my collection. This is just what's the remaining few that I've kept. So one of the last ones she did, I think, was Led Zeppelin Earl's Court 75. Again, lovely presentation. This is actually Idle Mind IMP 1107, so they may be out of order, but also she says on here, special thanks to John Wizzardo. Got the logo there, Idle Mind, and the stamp on the back. There's various different colours of these inserts that you can get. So, a really nice blue and red splatter with the Idle Mind logo label on the one side and a flower on the other. And this is really pretty, lots of red and green. Each one's different. And they make these, just depends how many colours they put in of each. Which is one of the appeals, because you never get two exactly the same. Now that's pretty much it on the Idle Mind, but there's another one to mention. With Hoffman Avenue, there was the Bob Dylan double in the deluxe sleeve, Hold the Fort for What It's Worth. Well, there's also this, which is Eagles live in Sydney 76, deluxe black and white sleeve. And it's supposedly on an Anti-Gravity Records label, but it's definitely Idle Mind pressing. It's got Idle Mind on the runoff. It's Idle IMP 1110, and you've got the flower labels both sides. Nice splatter, blue and black. So it's coincidental, isn't it, that you've got deluxe release with a deluxe cover on each label, and would have come out at about the same time. So. Okay, so that's basically what I've got of Idle Mind. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll move on to something maybe slightly different next, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching.